Apparently, cheers, bye. Good to see you.
Oh, yes, cheers. Are we on?
We're doing it? We're live.
I did that stupid thing where I'm like, oh, are we already recording?
What's going on?
Are we doing it? Oh, you did that, do you? Oh, yeah. Look at us with our books out. Look at this.
No, we're very comedian right now. This is comedy.
I don't have any nicotine pouches.
Well, I mean, you need to get into it. It's good.
Fucking
It's good for you.
Really?
Not really. They're pretty strong, but yeah, it's a wild area, right?
No, I like it. I'm pro St Kilda.
Yeah.
I think the hobos. I don't know what the correct nomenclature is. The hobos.
Unhoused, I think, is the way.
The unlucky.
Yeah.
The unlucky.
Yeah.
You could be just like us.
The roof challenge.
Sometimes I'm like, but you know that the roof challenge. Sometimes, like, you know American Psycho, where he talks to the hobo? He's like, you're a piece. I just kneel down on one knee and go, you could be 5 doors down doing open mic comedy with me. But
you'd fit in.
And then I say, would you like to play a game? And,
And then invite them back to your apartment, like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Ringwood.
I slap them. If they don't have enough money, I'm doing a Squid Game reference, obviously.
Yeah.
So we can go viral. You can.
I mean, it's very topical. New Squid Game season.
Actually, my girlfriend's got what's it called? It's on a jacket. It's woolen.
Oh, like a cardigan or whatever.
Yes, that's probably the correct term. We're learning a lot today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an educational podcast.
Yeah, it looks just like the Squid Game prisoner.
Oh, like the like jumpsuit or whatever.
And she was like, "Yeah, you're right. It does." So I'm going to do some sketches with that one.
Fuck yeah, dude. Would you see there was like an installation for advertising on St Kilda Beach of like a bunch of cunts?
Oh yeah.
Dressed up in Squid Game.
Like in the mask and the red thing. Yeah.
And they did some like photo shit. Like I think a comic was part of it.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of who. I saw it on someone's story who did comedy.
Yeah. I saw like Tottenham Hotspur, the soccer club. They did like they had an installation where fans could pretend to. They were doing the red light, green light shit.
Yeah. And I think it's on COD as well now.
Yeah.
Like, you can do the fucking...
You just can't have anything... You just have to, like, what do you call it? Saturate everything.
Oh, for sure.
The point of...
But yeah, for open mics, that's not how... I should probably introduce you. We're here with Joel Temperley.
Oh, yeah.
King of open mic comedy in Melbourne. Room runner extraordinaire.
Not sure I like either of those labels because it just ties me down to... I hate it when people introduce me as like, this guy runs every show in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking shut up.
Well, I had to talk to people at my show in Queensland because they kept being like, this guy, he's great, he's the reason we're all here, he runs the night.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you sort of people expect something different and it kind of like adds...
Yeah, I mean, it gives you
some credibility.
To be like, this guy runs the show, and I'm like, yeah, this show is run. Isn't that crazy? And that gets a laugh, and then...
Someone puts effort into this.
This is organised. Yeah, bloody-da. And you can do that, but then... I mean, I've kind of got a bit more sorry, the manager of the bar we're at the front of was a lovely lady. She was... having a very important phone conversation and she very unsubtly just moved inside away from us.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're the real stars of St Kilda Cellars Bar.
So we're doing a podcast.
This is kind of important. This is going to launch your business into the stratosphere.
She's just trying to run the business that provides us with the space to do the show that she could just easily pull the rug out from under at like click of a finger.
And probably should, to be fair.
Frankly, it's insane that we've been able to do this show.
Because how many running is it now? 152?
This Friday will be number 151 in a row.
Insane.
Do we need context? We're out the front of St Kilda Cellars Wine Bar.
St Kilda Cellars Wine Bar Bottle Shop.
Yeah.
It's a great spot. Shows here Thursdays and Fridays.
Oh yeah, the Thursday. Ding Jock's got his Thursday night live show.
Yeah. So,
which I'm hearing, a couple of people told me it's better. And the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, good on him. Then the third time I heard that, I was like,
you're like, fuck up. Nothing's better than Friday.
That doesn't fair. He cheats. He has musicians.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a hybrid show.
You can't have music. Of course, music's better. Yeah. We all know music's better.
What's that Shane Gillis bit where like he's recording his special and he's like...
live in Austin. He's like, you hear that? You can hear the music across the road. He's like, that's better.
That's so much better. Stand-up so gay compared to music.
God damn.
Yeah, 151 in a row though, bro. That's...
I mean, it's kind of stupid that that's happened, but...
That's huge.
But it's been great for me because I did the comedy, my comedy show during the festival here.
For sure. And you've got your show coming up. What's this year's title?
So, From Russia with Lols.
With Lols,
so
I like it.
It's just a stupid title to you know, as a bit of an eye-catching thing. I'll do a lot of jokes about my girlfriend being from Russia.
Yeah.
But it's more, it's just a way to like...
And can you confirm that you are not a Russian spy sent here to infiltrate the open mic scene from the ground up?
If I said I wasn't...
well, that's exactly right.
I'm doing my job. And if I said I was, then
I'd have to kill you.
I'd have to kill myself.
Yeah, well, that could happen at any time anyway, but...
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I've done many gigs at this place, but I've just thought, maybe the bay is right, conveniently located.
I can go for a swim, and I don't swim very well.
No comment. But it's great for open mics, because you can just bomb and then just walk into the fucking ocean.
And I think we've seen the death of many a comedy career at this joint.
It shouldn't be the death, it should be...
The beginning and the death. I think it's...
I mean, it's kind of the yin and yang, you know, kind of the same thing. But I think if you're sad about bombing here, this is where you come to bomb.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some losers who think, no, I just practice in front of the mirror and do a course, and then I go to.
And then I should be doing theatre shows straight away.
No, you got to come here and then just eat it and. Then that's good. It's cleansing.
I still love when you see like on the comedy like rooms group chat, like the groups on Facebook, and someone's like, "Yeah, trust me, I got 20 minutes of good material. I've never done it before, but like, trust me, it's solid." It's like, oh dear.
And you probably, I'm sure you have some good.
There's going to be a gem in there.
There's probably a gem, and by the way, I'm not saying this is not a and therefore. We or I do have 20 minutes. It's just I don't have 20 minutes and neither do you. And I'd rather have that mentality of that, like when someone says, can you do 15 or whatever amount of time, I like to feel like, oh.
Can I do that?
Yeah, and someone might go like, no, I saw you do, you got that joke and you got that joke and you got that. Yeah, you got it. I'm like, I like to have the mentality of,
sure.
Mate, no, I don't. That joke's shit.
Yeah.
No, I can't. No.
Well, I think you'd be a pretty weird case if, like, you actually loved all of your jokes and were like, this is the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that would actually work.
Yeah, and I think some people do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh.
Like, after I've been telling a joke for, like, more than a month, I'm like, this joke sucks. I'm overtelling it. Like, even if it works, this is lame. I'm cheating.
That's almost certainly not true. Because a month here, you don't probably, even if you do all the gigs you can, you probably don't do enough gigs
to like rinse a joke.
Yeah, to find every, and I think that too with jokes that I consider, you know, I've got that.
Yeah, in your pocket.
Yeah, that's a Joel classic. That's ready to rumble when I'm in trouble. Even those jokes that I'm thinking like that's done, I feel like there's probably other ways you could go about it.
Like different tags that you could do. Like, and I think different like jokes you could make from sort of the same premise, hey? Like
100%. Like, I don't think we have the enough gigs here to, like, you listen to the guys from New York and all that who are like, I did 4 shows tonight to just doing this one joke over and over again, tried this tag, tried this punchline, and then after a night they're like, okay, I think I've got it.
I think, this joke's going to work. And then they'll continue to do that every night for a month.
Whereas I think we're a bit like, oh yeah, I did that one. Okay, done. And it's like, how long have you been telling that joke? A few weeks. It's like, what do you mean? Like,
the joke's not finished yet.
Yeah, you haven't even found the real funny. Yeah, I did that with I got that stupid neighbour's dog joke I do. You know, I'm still not giving it back. And I've been doing that. That was like one of the early jokes in Melbourne that I'm like, oh, that really kind of works.
Yeah.
Even, you know, I now put up stories of that reel telling that joke, and I write in the story, I got confronted after this gig for being a hack because I find a joke so like
over it.
But normal people are like, ah. But even then, after I thought, that's done. But then I revisited it, probably because I did it and it maybe didn't do that well. I thought, maybe there's something, and I thought, maybe someone gave me the idea, but they said something like, it shouldn't just be you're not giving it back. You should go to the neighbor's door and knock on the door, holding the dog, saying, "I'm still not giving it back.
This is my dog now, just so you're aware." I think.
That's what I mean. And I think that, and that's another thing. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, fucking oath, man. That's what the podcast's for.
Hang on. I usually say the show's going well, bad if you can tell I haven't had a because you haven't got a laugh.
Because you're still talking.
Okay, yeah. But the other thing is doing. That's why I like doing podcasts when I can. There's a couple of other guys I want to hit up because I feel they're useful just talking it out.
For sure. It's just like I think talking with comics about ideas and like getting a fresh look, because I find sometimes you can be too close to a joke, so you think of it like narrow, like in a narrow, this is the funny part. Yeah. And like, we've even thought about like this other element to that idea.
I've had so many like 20-second conversations with other comedians go, and you've just done a joke on stage and they go like, oh yeah, that's funny, you know what, how about this way? And you go, wow, you just like changed my life.
For sure.
And that was just 20-second chat. Like, what if we did this all the time?
Like kind of like a workshop type. And I think that's what like the shows, like a lot of people will go to like an open mic and then there'll be no one in the audience to be like, well, I'm not fucking doing it. Yeah. Or, you know, there's nothing to be gained here. And I really like trying a new concept or an idea out and you're like, do you think that's like what's funny there, and getting feedback from other comics? Yeah. Because most of the time at open mics there'll be 3 people that we're holding hostage, and then everyone else is on their phone. Like if you can sort of like try and treat it as a workshop, at least getting comfortable exploring that idea on stage.
And that's why the hang is also important.
Oh, for sure.
And I've been accused of maybe not hanging as much as I should, but I still hang a bit. And that's, I think, forget about what you do on the stage. It's more like you're out here with the other comedians.
For sure.
And they, you know, you might, you know, it's not cool to don't do bits while you're off stage. It's lame. But if you sort of, stuff comes up in conversation and there's a lot of light bulb moments in those hangs.
For sure.
It's not just about networking and
having a good time.
Yeah, Alex, you run that gig, could I do that sometime?
And that's real slimy when you see people that like clearly are just like I've had a few people particularly coming back to Melbourne from the Gold Coast and like not really wanting to talk. She's like, oh, you run a gig somewhere else? So like how long you been doing that for? And then it's like you just switched completely on me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Devil's advocate though is that it is that sort of grey area. We're all mates and we're all friendly, but I liken it to sort of, it's like in high school when you're sort of friends, but just because you're in the same classroom.
Like by vicinity kind of thing,
Because it's sort of like that. So I remember someone else who ran a room, they're like, similar, they were like, oh, suddenly all those DMs I sent got read and replied to, and I'm like, yeah, on one hand, it's like, it kind of sucks how cold people are, and then like, oh, you can help me? Yeah. But then on the other hand, what do you know?
You sort of, but I guess, by the same token, you're like building each other up.
Yeah.
Like I had a good conversation with Andrew Portelli about it. And he was like, you know, when you're newer, you got to sort of give to the scene to get from the scene. And the better you get, the less and like annoying work you have to do behind the scenes because you're more established. Yeah. I thought that was a really interesting take on it. Like, don't just ask things from people, like try and actually create opportunities for others. Because it really, like at the grassroots level, which is why I commend what you do so much. I mean, running fucking 3 rooms is...
Oh, I went to touch, I went to do like a hand on the heart and I touched the mic. Sorry, listeners, viewers.
We'll edit it out. No, fucking, but like... You know,
by the way, it's 5 p.m.
It is.
Don't ignore where the sun is. Ignore the shadow.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, dude.
4.5%. Chill out. Sorry, my parents, if you're watching.
You know, my mum watched the last podcast I did with a mate up north, and she was like, "You just swear so much, and it's just makes it so hard to listen to." I was like,
my mum listened to a podcast I did, and I talk pretty openly about doing cocaine in Nicaragua.
Yeah, I mean
Guatemala. Sorry, facts matter.
But when in Rome,
I mean, if she didn't confront me for that, she was like, "That was." To be honest, she was like, "That was interesting." I don't know. I think she just accepts it. Like, he went to Central America when he was fucking. Do the math, 25. I wonder
what he's up to.
I just really wanted to learn more about Mayan culture.
I've been fascinated by ancient cultures since I was a boy.
The coffee.
I mean, they do have good coffee over there.
And the scuba diving.
Big into the stimulants, the Central and South Americans.
Yeah. And they were always very
upbeat.
I wasn't going to say lazy. They did build those pyramids, though.
I mean, exactly right. They got cool temples and shit.
That's one of my favorite jokes is the Schultz about the pyramids, where he's like, no one doubts the Mexicans built the pyramids.
Yeah.
Who did it? The Egyptian ones, it was like the Jews built them.
And it's like, oh, we don't really
They might have got the contract, but yeah.
It's such a great premise. Like if there was ever evidence of aliens.
Are we already demonetized now that we said Jews?
Yeah, let's fucking say whatever slurs you want, mate.
Nah.
This is an open platform.
This is a place where we are, where a lot of slurs have been slung, but it just feels different in the light of day.
It is strange being here when it's not, you know, at least at sunset and there aren't.
Yeah.
It feels a bit too clean right now.
Yeah.
Like there's usually cigarette ash everywhere.
I was going to say at the top of the show, even this down there, that little pocket where it is sort of Skid Row.
Yeah.
I remember once they had the Halloween thing here. And during the day, and I was like, "That's going to be a disaster. What, you're going to walk along Fitzroy Street with kids
In like costumes and
trick or treat? You're going to get
tricked.
You're going to get both with change."
Yeah.
But treat. You're going to find out that the term treat is very subjective.
You go and say treat to the wrong person on Fitzroy Street.
Yeah.
You're going to end up.
But honestly, they cleared off. They went to the car park out the back.
And apparently, they've set up like this big thing around that huge post.
But I think I don't know how they got rid of them, but I feel like the council just said, guys, come on, and they were like, yeah, all right, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think there's a little bit more reason there than like...
But then that's what I reckon makes the shows here so much fun, is because you have people going crazy and fucking, you know, like...
It happened once during the last comedy festival on a Tuesday night. I did a 9:30 Tuesday show. Yeah. Because I hosted a trivia night in just not far from here, just to the south of here. So like I wanted to keep that, needed the money, so I'd do my show here after that. But it was kind of like, first week it got cancelled. I was like, there's no tickets sold.
No tickets sold, yeah.
Next Tuesday, there was like 2 tickets sold, and then as the day progressed, 5. I think there was 3 tickets sold, which sounds like, you know, for civilians, that's enough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's plenty. If you've sold a few tickets before
free
showtime.
tickets, what do you mean? Like, surely anything under 100, you'll cancel it. No. I'm like, 3 tickets, I'll do it. I don't give a shit. And then I got here, and there was some, I walked in, I got here just in time, and there was one guy who we'll get to in a sec, but then there was this couple they were from Elstonwick, so it's sort of like a posh suburb from 2 suburbs down, and they're kind of like...
A lot of pyramid builders in that suburb as well.
Yes, but a lot of, but they were like very...
Prim and proper kind of,
well, you know, they were sort of in the bar. I hadn't set up yet. It was like 9:25 for a 9:30 kickoff. I hadn't set up anything, and they're just like looking at their mobile phone with the ticket going, I think this is the 45 Fitzroy Street thing, And then there was another guy, and then out the front there were 3 unroofed.
Unroofed, yeah. Those who sleep under the stars.
Rough sleepers.
Yeah. That's a much better term.
Beautiful.
Those who sleep under the stars.
Yeah.
Those sounds mystical.
I like that. Yeah. But so they were out here, and I said, you want to come in?
Yeah.
They were probably, in the grand scheme of things, probably you use the term prim and proper.
Yeah. They were less than prim.
They were prim and proper junkies.
Yeah, okay.
So they were still
They're put together junkies,
They were more put together, and then so you had the 2 well-to-do, and you had these like 3 junkies, and then you had this one guy who I was still like, he was kind of a 60-year-old dude.
Yeah.
And basically, I feel like this is one of those stories where it's going to wind up with me going like, you had to be there.
And then,
No, basically, one of the junkies, whose name was Angel, she kept turning, as we were doing the show, she kept turning around to look at the prim and proper people, like kind of on a 45-degree angle behind her. Like every time I did a punchline, she'd go,
she's like, right?
And basically I was like, Angel, stop looking at them. You're scaring them. And she was like, right.
You're scaring away the patrons, God.
Yeah. It went from being like, she's not part of the show, Angel's not part of the show, to you probably think she is part of the show, don't you?
Angel's a plant.
By 20 minutes in, I was like, I kind of wish you were. I wish I could actually lay claim to you being part of the show, because this is actually quite
And now,
fun.
after you paid her for her guest appearances for the rest of your run, she's now in a house, so that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, she works for,
She works for KPMG now.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the funniest one. I had Goldman Sachs in my head, but that's not really going to work for Australia. But maybe the people from Elstonwick work for
Well, I mean, sure, there's a few Goldman Sachs employees in Elstonwick.
But they, did you say Eltham or Elstonwick? Elstonwick, okay. But
Eltham, absolutely not. Like.
No, but basically, the guy, but then the guy turned out to be this, he was sort of an elderly black Blackpacker. He wasn't black.
He was a black.
I don't know why I said that.
A black backpacker?
Yeah, but that'd be a fun term for a
blackpacker.
A blackpacker. That's good.
I think that's a bit.
That's fun. That's fun. I don't think. No, that's fun.
It's boring. It's right on the line of like someone might get offended, but here
it's a good sort of Rorschach test.
You should open with it tonight in Brunswick, I reckon.
It's a Rorschach test as to whether you're a overly socially justicey warrior.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You say blackpacker now. It's like
it's a litmus test.
Yeah,
you're like,
it's like that's not racist. But like, if you think it is racist, that says more. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Weird tangent. But basically, the guy was like a backpacker from England. He's just traveled. I think he's a widower and widower.
Widower? Yeah.
Yeah, and his wife died, and he's just traveling the world. And he's like, bought one ticket, but went to see my comedy show at 9:30 on a Tuesday.
How did he find it? Did he say like?
You mean how did he find literally?
The show, like did he just find the show online?
I think it was Comedy Fest. I think he just maybe saw it in the guide.
Oh, right.
Which was a sad realization because I thought,
I've got a fan here.
Well, no, what I thought my marketing strategy was like, I'll do it outside of the hub, downtown. Do it in
so it's like less saturated kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it was mostly because this was free for me to use.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. It's also super funny. Like I've had a lot of, again, civilians using the term very fucking loosely. They're like, oh, congrats on getting into the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Like, how'd you do that? It's like you just pay money and then you're in. Like, I could rent a fucking 300-seat venue if I wanted, and I had enough money, and no one would come. When
I did the first show of that run, and I did it up, I had maybe 5 or 6 people, and it was good. You know, we had fun, and then one of the bartenders, he was like, that looked like fun. Let us know when you're doing the festival.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and there was a guy that had about 10 Melbourne Comedy Festival guides sitting on the bar, and I just turned a page and went, March 27th to April, this is it.
This is the festival.
This is the festival. And, really?
And you're like, fuck, the venue doesn't even know.
Oh, well, in that regard, it's just it's more civilians sort of.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I was a kid, I thought the Melbourne International Comedy Festival was that gala they put on Channel 10.
Yeah.
As a kid, I genuinely thought, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
Like, they all got them here.
Yeah, like they pay for everyone to be here, and then...
Obviously, it's insane to think that. But at the time, I was like, oh yeah, like...
I was the same, yeah.
Of course, Bill Bailey has flown from England to do 5 minutes here, and he'll fly back.
Yeah, like that's just what they do. They get paid.
That's the festival. The festival's over.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until maybe, like, embarrassingly, like, you know, late teens or like maybe even after that, where people are like, hey, we're going to see a show. I'm like, what do you mean? The festival.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, before I started comedy, I think I'd been, like, in terms of like I don't want to say lower level comedy, but more unknown names. I'd only been to like 2 or 3 shows, and then it was like, you know, Tom Segura and, you know, like the big sort of mega stars.
Yeah.
Was sort of all I really knew about. And then you sort of, I think, start getting into like the more niche kind of thing.
One of the kind of things we probably complain about now of the whole people who pay $50 to see insert big name here, and then, I went to the festival. It's like
you just went to like a show kind of thing. Like,
and that's, you know, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It happened down, I mean, look, it's a bit of an issue that. Yeah. Because it's like...
Because did you do Geelong this year as well? How was that? What was that like?
It was, it was quite a...
Because that was submission based to get in,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was no venue hire.
Sick.
And the venue I did it at was very small. Capacity was 30, but it's one of those sort of like golf club shaped, like very narrow where the bar is, and then where the stage was, there's this little pocket. Yeah. So you could technically fit people up the narrow part.
But like you wouldn't. It would be really
It'd be like if necessary, but you got probably a space for about maybe 20 in that little, which is great because if you get 10.
And those little intimate rooms all feel like that. 10 will feel
also
like you've got a good audience.
Very pro. They lock. You know, there's a guy on the door for you, and he closes the door, and he's in front of the door like there's a show going on. So
like don't come in.
Hello, because it's right next to the door. And so that was great, and it's in terms of my development, just that feeling of being 5 minutes in and having to go, what was the next thing? And knowing that I can't just go like, oh, I'm off. I can leave.
Yeah, like you can't bail on it. Because you were doing an hour?
45, 50,
Yeah.
you know.
How did you find doing that amount of time? Because, well, as you say, you
It
got
ends
that.
up being a lot of fun once you get into the flow.
Because I feel like you got a lot more time to sort of fuck around with that amount of time. Like you can.
And they don't know if you're like, geez, well, you know, it's kind of like a musician when they miss a note or a chord and they go, oh, that sounded sick. And in your head, you're like, no, that was meant to be a C7
Like when you miss a tag and then you're like the whole time on your head, you're like, you missed a tag, you missed the fucking best tag.
Sometimes that's fun though when you're driving home because you know that, I've got more ammo.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes you're like,
That sounds like a more healthy way of thinking about it. I get very like, you fucking missed the tag.
Sometimes
and you had 2 beers before you got on stage and you could have just had 1. Yeah. And then you fucking...
I definitely, it's sometimes I walked away going, it's not so much I fucked up a joke, it's more like, if I did... Like when you're writing a set list and you go, if I did that joke, I did a suburban gig last year, and I just knew that, I would have destroyed doing that suburban. Like I'm from Ringwood, that shit.
And it just didn't come to you like in the moment.
I think
kind of
what
thing?
I was trying to do, it was a big 150 seater.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can get 7 minutes of, because I've got a good 20-minute video, but if I could get like a 5, 6, 7 minute.
Yeah, where you're just like punching.
Yeah,
like
slam, slap, slap, slap. And I didn't want to do any suburban shit. Yeah. Because I thought, I'll send it to someone and I'll be like, this gig we're in Cairns. Yeah. You can't joke about Ringwood.
Yeah, like no one knows where that is kind of thing.
Eastland, you can't do that.
I think that's almost... I get what you're saying, but you could almost argue that would be like, I'll like research Cairns and then do topical material as well.
Sure.
Like, because I had a mate who did Cairns and he was like, I spent 2 days like looking up news and looking up fucking like where the shit places are and like.
I guess that's like, I mean, maybe I'm talking above my pay grade here, but. Like that's a good way to get it going. Like, hey, how about that local thing that just happened? Like, he knows about it. And then you can get into when it's your actual core material. Yeah. Like my big closer is my jokes about Ringwood.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
What are you talking about? I mean, unless you go all in and just joke about how I assume everyone can hear.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Unless your jokes are about how I remember you know Mike Vecchione? Yeah. I saw him in Chengdu, in China.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this was like 2018. So just before I started doing it.
What was stand-up in China like?
Oh, well, I'll just talk about
talk about
because it was like 20 people. He's pretty low energy. Yeah. So you could tell, if you see him, I see his clips now. Yeah. And I remember him then, I could tell he was a bit...
Like seems this gig, like...
It was all right. It was 20 people and we were all up for it. We were loving it. But he was still a little bit like... I mean, I think maybe, but that was like 6 years ago. He's got a special out now. I think he's a bit more.
He's like established kind of thing.
But back then he was maybe a bit more like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
But he said, does anyone know what IHOP is? Yeah. And we're like, because it was all English and Australians and Chinese, and he's like, it's an International House of Pancakes, and we're like, okay, and he's like, great, well, the next 20 minutes is about that. And he did it. It wasn't 20 minutes, but he did all the joke. He just went straight, and I think it was because he just plowed through, and we appreciated, like, I mean, it's not that hard of a concept to grasp. It's
it's a pancake parlor.
Pancake parlor. We get it, so not that hard, not that big of a stretch. Yeah. But he just did all his IHOP material, and we're like, it was. I think we laughed more because we respected that, like.
He's like, well, this is gonna you acknowledge, like, well, you guys aren't gonna get this.
The fact that you're doing this is so awesome, and I was really, but comedy, and I could have partied with him too after the gig. We walked, my girlfriend and I just went home, and he was just out the front with a couple of some of the audience members, and the local booker was just like. Head to the bar, I could have hung out with my fucking. I would now. I would be like, fuck yeah, hey, where are we going? But back then I was like, he's the talent.
You don't want to, and that's like, and I worry too, like sometimes about you don't want to be like fangirly either, and be like, so when you did this joke on this fucking special, like
cool.
Yeah, for sure. I have a few situations with a few friends recently. We were out down the coast and there was a whole bunch of AFL players there and they're our age, like 28, 29. Yeah. And they're like, we got to go get photos with them. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, just be normal, say hi, whatever. I find that, I don't know, I really don't like it at all. And they're never going to watch this, so I can shit on them as much as I can.
Like, I got hammered once at a bar in Richmond and basically, long story short, people tell me, and I quote, wait for it. Neil Baum was about to hit you. Oh, no. Like, you were this close, My dad told me stories about how I was at the 1973 grand final and I watched Neil Baum bash the shit out of Jeff Southby, and that's the day I started to fall out of love with the Richmond Football Club. And I was this close apparently to being like, I got hit by Neil Baum. Neil Baum punched me.
You're like, Dad, I finally made it.
But he wasn't. He was the football manager. Well, he was. Because then I'd probably go to the news and say, I got hit by Neil Baum. But apparently we were having a work Christmas party and I was just annihilated. And I was just like,
You!
Neil Barmy, my dad hates you.
Yeah. And he's like, who is this drunk?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I think I got the lasso and like.
Yeah. I mean, look, see, we've all been there. Sometimes where you're like super drunk and then you're like, wake up and you're like, oh no.
Oh, I cringe.
Yeah.
It's like the Louis C.K. joke. It's like, it's not even a joke. It's like, have you ever done something? Look,
he's done a few things.
Yeah, but he does have the joke where he's like, have you ever done something and you've just gone, I'm never going to tell anyone that. Yeah. And I'm like, it resonates because I'm like, no, that just didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to delete that from my memory and that never fucking happened.
Well, it's probably like, funnily enough, Pete Davidson talking about Louis C.K., where he's like, he was in the lift at SNL and he's high and he's got his hoodie on.
Yeah.
And Louis is like holding court and Louis turns to Pete and he goes, look at Pete over here. High as fuck, ruining his career. And Pete Davidson's just there, he's like
sitting there like, ah.
No, but he's like, that didn't happen.
Yep, no, that's
no, that didn't happen. That didn't just happen. Louis C.K. didn't just do that. Nah. He was just so high that he was just like, nah.
This is a dream.
Nah, I'm not here. What were we talking about?
Mike Vecchione, China, Fangirl.
Oh, China. You asked about China,
Yeah, so you've traveled, like, sounds like you've traveled to some wild fucking spots.
Yeah, I lived in China and Russia, so that's pretty different. Wild.
I'm still getting spy vibes. This is fucking...
I mean...
if anyone's going to change the world politically...
just own that and just... Yeah, then I'd be veering into character comedy.
Yeah, well, and perish the thought.
Nah, 100%. No, that's... Character comedy is a little... it's kind of easy.
Yeah.
It's just seriously, it's like... Because you can always just be like, the joke is the joke.
Yeah. And if you didn't get it, it's because the character's like, that was the point of the character.
I don't think I'll lose any friends with that remark because I don't have any character comedy friends. And if
and if one of your friends decided to do character comedy, then
they wouldn't be my friend anymore.
No longer be your friend.
One time I think I used like the mic stand to pretend it was a gun. I'm like, oh god, did I just do prop comedy? Oh fuck!
Sure.
And I almost just killed myself.
I pulled out my EpiPen on stage once to assert the fact that I was actually anaphylactic. I was like, no. This is a slippery slope. You pull out an EpiPen and then in a minute you're getting on stage.
Next thing you know, it's a dildo.
Fucking. I've seen a few colleagues who won't be named get on with like a suitcase, like full fucking. What's the show about the stalker, the English dude?
Oh, Baby Rain.
Yeah, like full that level of character prop comedy, and you're like.
It's funny because there's an episode in that where he talks about spoiler alert being raped, and then clearly his career goes up. Yeah, and he gets on good shows. And how much would we hate that guy?
I was watching that. Like all of a sudden, some guy sucks and he does prop comedy, and then all of a sudden he's like headlining at the best clubs in Melbourne.
You'd hate me like something. I mean, something. If no matter how bad the thing that happened to me was, if I started getting on at the lounge because of that, you'd be like, fuck that guy.
You'd be like, well, mate, I would do that in a heartbeat. And then you get all the people being like, well, why couldn't that happen to me?
Yeah, we've all had bad shit happen to us.
Yeah.
We are all traumatized by different things. And that's what I was watching that episode being like, and he's joking about it too.
Yeah, but then he was like, now he's like some super successful comic. I'd never heard of the dude. Ever.
Yeah, but is he though? I don't.
Well, he's a successful show writer and book writer.
Well, yeah.
I'll give him that.
He's not a comedian though now, is he?
Yeah, no. Not really.
Oh, but China. Look at us sitting out the front of a fucking bottle shop, middle of the day, me drinking beer, and I'm like, yeah, that guy sucks.
Yeah, fuck that guy. He's a loser.
That guy was nominated for a Golden Globe sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I hate
it's so sad.
I think that's just the most reflection of comedy. It's like, that guy isn't a true fucking artist.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to be jobless, sitting out the front of a bottle shop
in the middle of the day,
recording a podcast that no one will see.
Yeah, that you're going to get 12 views, and half of them are going to be my mum checking to make sure I didn't swear too much this time.
It's the it's the friends we made along the way.
Exactly. I think the comedy is the real friends we made along the way.
But with China, it was.
I keep getting China like tourism shit all the time now.
What do you mean?
Like it's like come to Chongqing City
they changed the visa situation, so you can go there visa free now for.
Yeah, they're trying to get me there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they want to do to me when I'm there, but
I think they sure don't want your organs after what you've done yourself.
no one's going to buy them. There's no danger of
What
me.
has happened to this liver?
Can't get trafficked into sex slavery. No good on all. I'm basically the established.
Like your parents are like, what will happen to you? Like, what you're already going to harvest my organs? Like, what organs?
I don't even want
my
these.
liver's a raisin.
Yeah, literally.
Harvest them, take them. Somebody,
can we get a new one in here?
I'll finally lose some weight.
Whoa, this is a family friendly.
Line crossed.
Not at all. Fucking half of my material comes from being fat.
I like the Diddy oil.
You like that? Yeah.
Of course the US are rich. Finally, the oil.
Yeah, it's a good bit. A friend of mine helped me write that as well, which I fucking.
Don't admit that. At least you didn't do a course and pay someone for the tag.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a fine line because it's just, we get into it because it's like so not businessy.
Yeah, it's like anything other than an actual job
it's
and
extended childhood almost.
Yeah,
it's like
for sure.
You know, a lot of other people are like, you got to grow up and stop joking about shit. But it's like, no, what if you do this? You can just keep.
Having fun.
And you can sit down and with a straight face, if you got a couple of good gigs under your belt, you can be like, no, I'm gonna go to a cafe. What are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna write some jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like what? And it's like, yeah, check my Instagram.
I got some clips that got some views
I'm not
and
in the millions, but actually a couple of clips.
Yeah.
But
should we come back from the cut?
have we not come back from the cut?
Well,
yet?
I'll figure it out. Don't worry. We're back from the cut.
I was pouring my heart out.
No. So keep going.
But yeah, it's sort of. It's because we do it because we don't want it to be too businessy, but then inevitably, if you want to keep it moving, you kind of have to get a bit.
Yeah. How do you find the business side of like running rooms and stuff? Because you got 3 open mics and 1 like.
I'll let you know when it becomes anything like a business, because honestly.
Because I just can't imagine managing that like number of people each week, and
we do it. We book it the names via a group chat.
Yeah. So it's sort of pretty simple.
That's sorted, and then. This gig, for instance, it runs itself.
Yeah.
I don't do any marketing. I might, now that I think about it, go print off some more flyers.
Yeah.
But the bar's cool. That it's out the back. So this gig's no issue.
Yeah.
If anything, we want to do more of this place.
Yeah, for sure.
But basically, Itty Bitty. The other one in St Kilda, again, they're all just stick a mic in the corner and see what happens.
Yeah, and like and I think the thing that's good about it, you let people like come here with an idea and like fucking, if they bomb, it's not like, because there's a lot of like mics and stuff in some places where it's like, you need to do well here to then get on the next level of a show.
Yeah, well I try and like sheath it in this armor of, no, this is the gig where you bomb.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually thought about, I'm going to update the poster to sort of reflect that it's we got the subtitle on the poster there, like beer, wine, stand-up comedy. It's not really, it doesn't really indicate to the crowd that this could be a clusterfuck.
Yeah, for sure. Indicate. Well, I remember like there was a time where you changed it to like the wildest show in Melbourne from like the best or something, and then it was like
something like that. I don't know. I thought
because you're promising too much. You don't want to be like, this is going to be the like best comedians in Australia, and then some mentally deranged person gets on stage, says the N-word and tries to fight the audience.
And that's why right now it's like, usually at about 9:45, that's when it gets good.
Yeah,
because you've got all the people who are like, oh, this is bad, leave. But the people who are like, this is bad, stay. Which, it's why I think a few people hit me up to go on late. They're like, no, it'll be good by then.
For sure.
But I almost changed it to clusterfuck comedy. I know, I genuinely, because I think that might be a bit too far.
Yeah.
You do that, it's like, this comedy show is shit.
It sucks, like,
just try and push it subtly.
You gotta like sort of massage like what it is a little bit, I think.
It's
for anyone that hasn't come to Sellers on a Friday. It's loose as fuck. It's you'll see some great comedians and you'll see some absolute shit shows.
There've been some. If you go to the Instagram, there's like a what to expect highlight, and there's like Luke Kidgell's come.
Yeah. Didn't Sam Talent come down?
No, he came to Cornerstone in in like 2021 or 2022. 2022, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I since I gutted the Cornerstone Instagram because I needed the account for a different thing, but I think there's a photo floating around of Sam Talent at Cornerstone, which is, I'll be honest, when Akeeb Merchant, he messaged me that night. It's like, Sam Talent could come down and do Cornerstone. I didn't actually know who Sam Talent was. This was 2020. Well, this was 2022.
So before Toad's Morale and stuff, or like just when he's sort of blown up.
Yeah, we got blind spots, but now you look at that and you go,
that was really cool. I just saw the footage of him at Dirty doing that roast show, and it's like, that's so sick that you could go, and that's the coolest thing is like, you see the really successful people, and they're still going to like open mics,
and they're very accessible too. Like Kyle Kinane, I hit him up. Kyle Kinane, who I'm a big fan of. Hey, you want to come down to Comedy in the Cellar? And he's like, maybe. Yeah. He replied to me. I was like, oh yeah. And then I think Norman too. He was like crazy in terms of replying to shit. I tried to get him here because he was at the Palais. Yeah. I thought that's
how you were like, this sounds very Norman to go to.
People were here going like, they were on like Norman's watch. Yeah. Not just in McCann and all them. But like, you know, is he coming in? And I think Elijah Drives was like, he's going to the lounge, and Elijah works at the lounge, so we're like, all right, let's go to the lounge. But oh well.
You going lounge tonight, you reckon?
Why?
I don't know, just Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Is Itty Bitty back this week?
I'm just trying to think, why wouldn't I? I'm at Red Betty.
Oh, yeah.
But no, Itty was meant to be tonight, but it's back next Tuesday.
Sick.
I haven't been to the lounge for a while. Yeah. I don't know, I should go and hang, but I don't know.
It's a weird thing that you can go and hang, but it's like you also don't want to be a bother.
But also, you sort of just, the hang is usually at about 10:30 or 11 after the show for a bit, and it's like, gee, I live in Ringwood,
it's a journey home.
Girlfriend's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just
standing around here on Errol Street, standing around, everyone's having a smoke. I don't smoke, I'm just sort of, what is non-playing character, just sort of standing there.
Just standing there trying to fade into the background.
Everyone just assumes like, I guess he's with us, kind of thing. Oh, but, no, circle back. China. I was teaching English there, and then I was 30 years old, and I was just like directionless. And then I guess I had it in my head to try stand-up comedy. Yeah. And then. So when did you start? Oh, in China in 2018.
Okay, sick.
Yeah. And it was like going to the gigs. They do gigs semi-regularly. Like, I think my girlfriend and I were just looking for something to do in China. I think we were both we're back in China. We're making money from English teaching. Yeah. But is this all there? Like, is this it?
Yeah, is this it? There's got to be something else.
So we were really looking for like things to do and stuff. Like, let's not necessarily embrace the local culture, but just culture. Because you know, it's big. Chengdu. Not many people know it, but it's a big city. Yeah. So it's one of those places where there's a lot of Western stuff there.
There's sort of like everything you could want if you were going to try it. Like, thank God you didn't get into like 10-pin bowling or something like that.
I know.
There could have been anything.
Well, I did a music open mic. And it was fun, and then I knew it was. I think I just wanted to. Just the class. I just wanted to do comedy. Yeah. And I was very lucky because the first gig, same venue that I saw Vecchione at. It was this guy. It's a really fun fact. It was the regular. I think it was the regular open mic they did there once every month or so. Okay. And which sounds crazy, doesn't it? Just once a month.
Yeah, like a once a month thing. But I suppose like in that culture, stand up is not like going to be the hugest thing.
No, of course not. Yeah. Also, the thing is, they were big. You know, we say open mic here, we're talking about, just, maybe a workshop. But there, the open mic would get, 50 people. Because it was an event like Backpackers. There's an
English-speaking comedy night on,
And, but the fun fact was that night, there was an American, I haven't heard much of him lately, but a US comedian named Hal Sparks.
Never heard of him.
He was Zoltan in Dude, Where's My Cup?
Oh, right. No way.
The cult leader, right?
Yeah.
And he was doing like a self-produced kind of documentary about him traveling in China and doing comedy in China. So he had...
And this is on your first night of doing comedy?
Yeah, so there were a lot of people. Yeah. And it was kind of an event feel, and there were 50 people all pumped. Yeah. Whether because... I can't remember if him being there was...
Like what drew the people?
Or there was sort of a feeling of an event, like I think more so. And so it was a pretty hot, they're usually pretty easygoing crowd anyway, because they're like, oh my God, someone's talking in English. Yeah. because it was mostly backpackers and people working there.
And so, like, it's something like a touch of home kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's all low-hanging fruit, like, hey, I live, pronunciation issues.
Yeah, and then, like, the food here, like, what I'd give for a ham, but, like...
Yes, like, 3 people were doing, like, jokes about how, in China, the N-word means you've probably heard that, nigger is there, literally. I mean, it's Russell Peters.
Yeah, it's like a well-known...
Yeah, he's kind of taken the... when you bring it up, people go, oh, Russell Peters.
Yeah.
But everyone had that joke like,
I just got a new excuse for saying the N-word.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm just saying I'm in Chinese. What the fuck?
Sorry, my Chinese is so good.
I mean, look.
Sorry, I really embrace the local culture.
I'm bilingual, and you're not, so therefore you might be the racist one because you've never put in the time.
Yeah, but why'd you say it to that black guy, and why'd you say the hard R, and why did you smile after?
And why'd you tell him to get out of here?
Why'd you point at him?
I didn't know what to say to the guy.
Yeah.
I was perplexed.
Wow, your Chinese is really good.
A black guy in Brunswick?
Yeah.
What? Anyway.
It was like, and then I did the whole low-hanging fruit set. I did the whole thing. It was just the classic, the first gig went well.
Yeah.
And that kind of, maybe if I'd eaten shit, I'd be like, never doing that again.
For sure.
But I tried.
Yeah.
So
what was that like though? Like 50 people for your first time must have been a bit of like, oh shit, this is going to be intense.
Just really rehearsed.
Yeah, okay.
Like word for word. For the first year, I would rehearse.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole Chinese spell, because we only did the gigs weren't that frequent.
So you wanted to have everything
so
tight.
I was I would practice, do the classic practice in my mirror, in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
Like we're holding a brush and just word for word. It was completely opposite of what I do now, which is I don't write on stage.
But you fuck around and have a good time.
I got an idea, and if it bombs, I go I noted in 5 gigs.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out, kind of thing.
You have a few moments where you're driving back and you go what the fuck was that? And you're no, of course that should go there. I know what are you doing?
But I think you need that though. Need the dying with an idea and be okay.
You need to have that 5 words into this idea of I just realized this isn't that funny.
Yeah, you're fuck.
But I need it. The only way I was going to find that out is me coming up here and trying.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's funny how you what's the deal with Chemist Warehouse? You go and then you realize
there is no deal with Chemist
Warehouse. It's like the Seinfeld. It's remember the episode where he's trying to remember the note from the last night? He goes, I've got it. At the end of the episode, he finally understands what it was.
Yeah.
He's that's not funny. There's nothing funny about that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like that. It's just shit, I thought that was...
Or when you're trying out a concept and then they laugh halfway through your setup and then don't laugh at the punchline, you're
well, that's good though.
But you're I didn't think that part, why is that funny? And you're
that's great, but isn't that great? You're oh, cool. You're I mean, I've done that with the recent joke I do about buying my second cousin a gift for Christmas about the voucher, and people always laugh when I say I gave her a $25 JB voucher with $20 left on it. And people laugh, and I'm I don't think that's that funny.
Yeah.
It's just
I spent $5.
People really, but they don't just go haha. They go and you're kind of I don't think it's.
Yeah, I don't think that's that funny.
Shut up.
You're you don't know what's funny.
Yeah. And then you go no, this is the funny part. And you tell the funny part, and they're nah. And it's oh, really? Yeah.
50 minutes and counting.
We haven't even, got to my manifesto.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but too long didn't read a version. China next year in 2019 was a guy, Tim Bigelow. He's a British comic. He was there too, and we kind of. Him, me, and this other American dude who I don't know anymore. I'm sure he's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we sort of propelled the scene. It became a few more regular gigs started happening, which was cool. But
and that's just was that just born out of I want more stage time, therefore I'm gonna
pretty much. Probably in retrospect.
Yeah.
That was good.
Because I think that's how I got into it was well, if there's not enough stage time, then I can just find somewhere that'll let a bunch of insane people say wild shit.
I'm not gonna lie, we honestly thought, we probably at that time, I thought, a gig every fortnight, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which seems insane.
Yeah.
That's I remember back then, at about the 10th day of that 14th day spell of no comedy, you forget you're a comedian.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
You get, and that's what I think 2 weeks off, you start being like, you're out of that
I may as well be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Which isn't true, but
Definitely.
you feel that, the longer you wait, you know that, well, that first gig's going to be a write-off.
Yeah, which is why I'm doing my first gig tonight at Lala.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that
Go
like?
up and buy. I like to think it's getting better actually.
It's still going.
Yeah, I think because people are kind of like wanting to drink more after work. It's nice.
Oh, so
it's
you
close.
get civilians?
Yeah, plenty. But then some of them will have full volume conversation. And the last set I did there, I had like 20 people I went to school with in my year because one of their mates lost a bet and had to do comedy for the first time.
Oh.
And so they're like, yeah, can you set it up? And I set it up. It was like 20 blokes I was kind of friends with.
Yeah.
And just like all people I knew. And then there was these 3 other people there. And they were laughing harder at their own conversation. So I just riffed the whole time. I was like, it's really depressing. Like they're getting more laughs than I ever have on stage, blah, blah, blah. It was like good fun to fuck around. But it can be hit and miss, like any gig.
I'm getting better at just staring at the floor. And people, it's funny talking to comedians who enjoy looking at the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll say who they are. Like Jez Watts and Adam Ulitas, I talk to them. They love seeing the crowd. They love knowing the reaction is. I'm like, it's all my wiring is like if every crowd reaction is wrong.
Yeah, like whether it's good, whether it's bad.
You're not laughing hard enough. You're laughing at the wrong time. You're not smiling enough.
Well, that's why I find stage lighting actually way more because you can't see anybody, and then you can just like get up there and riff.
I can't.
And if you hear laughs, great. If you don't, like.
And by the way, that's just totally me. That's my own paranoia. I can't. I'm getting better at. I am actually. I look up and I make eye contact and I go straight back down. I'm like, no.
Yeah, like, that was too much.
That was way. It's good. And I'm like that when I talk.
Yeah.
This is the most eye contact I've made, and it's only because you're wearing sunglasses.
Exactly.
If
I'm doing you a favor.
Sunglasses, I'd be like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, why is this guy so into me? What the fuck?
Does this guy want to fuck
staring
me
at?
right now?
He's been staring at me the whole time. We started this long conversation. But coming back to, I only got 4 months in before COVID hit.
Oh, right.
So
were you in China when COVID hit?
No, I left in September 2019.
Right. You brought it over here.
Should raise more questions than the whole Russian spy thing. I remember that Australia Day, the next year, Invasion Day, sorry. I remember that day, and the friends were joking with me. They were like, hey, you're back from China, huh? I was thinking like, that's...
But it's over there problem.
Out of sight, out of mind. But then obviously 2 months later...
It all went to shit.
Yeah, I remember I went on a trip to Indonesia in February, which Lana and I were already like, do we do this?
Yeah.
And we did it, because we sort of thought we're going, ironically, because we're going to some island, not uninhabited, Flores, it's where the dragons are.
Oh, yeah.
But it's quite...
There's barely anyone there.
Except for where the port where the dragons are, that's kind of a resort kind of party place, but the rest of the island's just like forest. Yeah. And we're going there, so unless we catch it on the way and we're stuck out there, if we can dodge that, then
you'll be fine.
When we fly through Bali, if we can just do that, then we'll be actually away from it all. Yeah. And it was while we were in Flores, we were just about to come home, and we got to that aforementioned sort of party town, civilization again. It was like in the zombie films right at the start, where you see flashes of the news on the TV in the background.
like crisis news kind of shit on TV.
Everyone's toilet paper and all that shit. And it was like, and we got back like 2 days before Scott Morrison said, if you come back, you have to... it wasn't that bad, but just before we had to isolate for 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Just got back in before that. So, but basically, I only got 4 months of gigging in Melbourne. Yeah. Back when it was the glory days. Yeah. Of like, if you wanted to do comedy from scratch, there were like 5 gigs a night you could sign up at. Yeah. And that's...
God, I wish I started back then, because it sounds like it was literally like...
I only just caught the end of it.
If you wanted to, as you said, like 4 or 5 times a night, sign ups.
You'd have no excuses.
Everywhere.
After a month, you could have done like 20 gigs. And by then, you would have shook a few hands, maybe get a couple of jokes at work.
Yeah, get a book show or two.
Yeah,
and you're on your way.
Nothing high level, but you maybe get on at Dirty Secrets or something like that, and you feel like a comedian very quickly. Yeah. And I just caught that before, so to speak, before COVID hit. So, and also I did a week in Vietnam.
Random. What was that like?
So, Lana and I just went on a trip there for a lark. Had a bit of money off the China. Let's just check it out. And the mate I mentioned in Chengdu, he was from Vietnam originally. That's where he did comedy. Right. And he was based in Hanoi, and he said, I can tee you up with a guy, and the guy said, yeah, you're lucky you're here. This week we've got like a bunch of shows happening, like a little Hanoi comedy festival.
Sick.
But what it turned out to be, and in retrospect I'm glad, is because it was just like open mics in Melbourne.
Right, gotcha.
At the time I was like, I spent an extra week. My girlfriend went back to Russia to see her family.
Yeah.
I spent an extra week in Vietnam to sort of hang around for these gigs, and I was like, God damn, I thought this would be like kind of cool, but it is just like
it's just sign up open mic
it's
kind
just
of
sign
vibe.
up open mic. We're just ambushing people.
Yeah.
Looking back, that prepped me for Melbourne.
For sure.
Because
was there a big culture shock like in the comedy sort of scenes, I guess? Like, because I'd imagine over there it'd be like super small and like you'd know everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you come here and then it's like there's like a 2,000 fucking people trying to do open mic.
It was definitely different. I wouldn't say it was a shock. I think I kind of figured like I came here and no one knows me, and I sort of just, again, non-playing character, I kind of just stood around.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys I know and are good friends with in the comedy scene now were probably just like, we'd be, you'd go from like, who are you to
Hey man,
to like, hey man, what's your name? And gradually after a year or two, you go like, hey brother, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. I was speaking to someone about it. I can't remember who, but it was here. They were like, yeah, well, because you meet so many people, and I've been doing it for like 8 years. You don't know who's going to hang around.
Yeah.
Like if someone's been doing it for like a year, it's like, oh yeah, we're friends now, cool. Like
it happens a lot here. People come up to me and they shake my hand and smile, and I'm friendly, and I'm like. So they can probably tell I don't remember their name, and that's not a big swinging dick thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, and they're like, it's me, Jimmy. I'm like,
oh yeah, hey man.
And they probably think I'm a twat, but like I'm just like, no, there's
so many people.
There's
and
a lot of people. Also, I don't know you. Like, what am I running?
You're like gonna get like a politician.
Yeah, am I running for Senate? Like, hey, how are you? Let me kiss your child. Like, no, I don't. Yeah, you.
Yeah, and I think it's also we were talking. Cam Muratori and I were talking about it. It's like I think a lot of people like love to say they're a comedian rather than like actually going to gigs, writing jokes, and doing.
Yeah.
Like you know the people that are like grinding, writing, trying shit, getting up.
The people who are grinding understand the process and understand that most of the gigs we do are practice.
Yeah, exactly.
And like my mum was asking me, quite genuinely and instantly, like, hey, if my friends are in town, where could they go see you? And I'll like, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's always they're like, oh, we saw that you're at this open mic in Croydon. Can we come? It's like, no.
And then you tell them like, it's gonna probably be not great. And they go, no, don't worry about it. It's like, no, I don't know.
Like, you don't understand.
I don't think you understand what you
like. I'm gonna get up there and say horrible things that probably aren't gonna be funny.
Yeah.
And so is everyone else. And then you're gonna be like, good on you for giving it a go.
Yeah.
Like,
you're so brave. I just.
I find I hate people I know coming to watch me.
Yeah, it's happened when they ambush it too. Yeah. Maybe it's better that they ambush you and you just have to embrace it.
Yeah.
If you know in advance.
For sure. If you know in advance, well, that gig when there was like 20 of the people I went to high school with, I was like, fuck, this could go one. Like I could either rip or I could die. I did okay. But it was still like...
I remember one in 2021, I did Funny Need a Brunny on the Monday.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd done it. And it's not... Now it's in the band room. Back then it was in the narrow bar area, so it was really sort of messy. Yeah. And I had it in my head. It was a classic mistake. I thought, a lot of Comics Lounge guys do this gig. They're going to see me.
And then I'm going to be invited to the
polished material, and they're going to be like, hey, you're funny. I want you to come with me on a cruise ship and be my opener.
Yeah.
You've got 20 minutes, right? And then I got up there, and I probably actually, in retrospect, did well. Normal, but I was like 13 to 15 acts. Yeah. And it's just, like, of course, everyone was tired, no one was listening.
Yeah. Everyone's just waiting for their set.
I had a couple of comedians in the corner, sort of, every time a joke didn't necessarily kill, they were like, bad, which at the time I was like, motherfucker.
You're like, these fucking assholes.
But then now I'd be probably doing the same fucking thing. But I remember, I think I wept on the way home.
Oh, no.
Calling my girlfriend, going,
I don't know why I'm doing this shit.
What am I doing? And then the next night, I did another gig called The Noble Experiment, and it was like decent gig. Yeah. It was like another sort of booked open mic type thing. And then 11 of my old work colleagues just showed up because I was sharing all the posts.
Yeah, you like doing the Instagram shit.
And they came, and it was a night where, it was them, those 11, and then there was another probably 10 or 11 but they were there to see a specific comedian, Ruben.
Right.
Ruben Solo. Yeah, he does a lot of. He's big.
Yeah, he's getting.
He got on America's Got Talent and all that.
No shit.
He did the whole. Went viral because he pressed the golden buzzer.
Oh, okay.
He accosted Howie Mandel and
went up and pressed
did it himself.
That's a baller move if you go on fucking.
And he but he's got a following.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of eating shit.
Yeah.
Until he got up, and even then, I mean, no, he did fine. But, he's got like a whole Gen Z following, so they're all like.
Yeah, like internet fucking
they're like,
shit.
Why is this TikTok lasting more than 15 seconds? I don't get it. And then I get up and all my mates are like, Joel's here. And they're like, I did really well. So I was like, and they were like, dude, yeah.
You were the fucking.
That was great.
Yeah.
Like, what are these other guys? They're fucking, they're shit. You're great. And I'm like, you should have.
You're like, no, I'm not. We're all equally as fucking shit or as good as.
A not very far removed parallel universe. You were at the gig last night.
Yeah, exactly.
At about 10 p.m. after being there for an hour and a half, going, when's Joel getting up and watching me just talk?
Just talk into the ether.
Free falling in the woods.
Yeah, fuck it. I remember I had one like that up north. And my cousins came.
Yeah.
And they came with their mates who were just hammered drunk. And they just heckled everybody.
Yeah.
And then continued to heckle me, and I brought them, and everyone's like, why'd you bring these fucking people into the bar? Like, what the fuck? And I'm like,
I had a friend heckling, and it was, you can't shut them down. You can't be too...
You know, but I struggle really bad with being too mean. Like, I don't want to just eviscerate someone, which is why I try not to do crowd work too much.
Yeah.
Because, I don't want to go I've gone too far, and then you lose everyone.
Oh,
you're an asshole.
Yeah. I know, I've done a couple of those where I'm like, actually, no, I was still right. But, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if I was right.
It's funny, the whole being mean thing, because people level that accusation at me a lot. Yeah. And it's a little, I feel like there may be, only 2 or 3 times
that you have in your head
really gone that was dumb.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other times that people go, oh, Joel was a bit too much, and then I go, I know that gig. That was fine.
I was just fucking around.
And just because you didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I have to say to people sometimes, because this was the first Christmas. I've only been doing it just over a year now. This was the first family Christmas where they're like, I watched your clips and I got to say, I think you're a bit of a misogynist. And, some of that's a racist concept.
You would say that, you bitch.
It's like, dumb bitch, go back and fucking slice the ham or whatever. But
that'd be so funny.
But it's you got to say it at some point, maybe it's just not for you. You know what I mean? If you're doing open mics, most of the people aren't. Some people might like it, some people might not. But I guess it's it's a hard litmus test of jokes as well. It's is that joke shit, or did you just not like me, or any concept?
It's almost 90% of it is did you think it was funny?
Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then if you think it's funny, I mean, we're all a bit weird, but if you think it's funny, well, it's probably funny.
Yeah, exactly. And there's something in there that's funny.
Yeah. If it made you go, ha! It's good to have my girlfriend. I'll run something by her, and she'll.
Is she a pretty good judge of if something's going to be good or if it's going to be shit?
A couple of times I've gone to her, I'll come home late at night.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Lana, the joke you didn't slap.
You were wrong.
It's like, what? Shut up. She's Russian. Yeah. What? Shut up. I'll kill you. But I know once the one that did well. Oh, yeah, the other week, I said, my dog died. Sorry, this has gone a while, but my dog died recently, and it's okay.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Asshole. But they give you the funeral.
The remains.
They give you the remains. They give you the ashes, and they give you a little bit of fur.
Yeah.
And they give you the paw print.
Yeah.
Which is really. And my girlfriend said, why don't we get a tattoo?
Yeah.
I never got a tattoo.
Really?
That's a cool idea. Let's get both dogs. They died in the same year.
Yeah.
So we get tattoos of both of them.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. What if our dog gets cancelled? What if we go back through our dog's old barks?
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like getting a fucking band tattoo and then you find out the guy's a rapist.
Yes. You got a Diddy tattoo.
My R. Kelly tattoo on my ass is not aging well at all.
Oh, don't get me started on the swastika I got on my left butt cheek. God damn it,
I'm just really into Hindu culture.
It's the good one.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's like, I don't get it, and I did it at Voltaire, and they're like, nah, and I'm like, hey, it worked, bitch. But No, but she'll either go, if she doesn't like it, she'll go, it has potential.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll go, nah, shit. Then.
Like,
but then she'll go like, if I can get it, she'll go, that means it's okay. And if she really likes it, she'll be like, like evil.
the slower kind of like.
Evil, that's fucked up. That's nice.
Which is always, that's the kind of reaction you're looking for when someone's like, I know I'm not supposed to laugh at this concept, but that's fucking funny.
Dave Attell with the a groan is just a laugh for pussies. It's true.
Exactly.
It's like, anyway.
For sure. I think we'll end it
Well,
there.
shit, what, about 5 hours?
I think it's an hour and
We'll count the lady who was sitting there as a listener.
absolutely. That's a view already. Hour and 7 minutes. That was fun.
Is this part of it?
I'll cut around it, but
all right.
thank you for coming on.
You missed my funny joke about the lady listening.
We'll leave it in.
Okay,
fuck it.
leave it
It's a shit show.
See how the sausage gets made.
Exactly.
Do we have a ritual for ending the show?
Just what are your socials? So it's at Joel Temperley on everything?
Yeah, okay. This is important because I've been doing well on, this has been Summer of Joel on Instagram. So
Mate, you've been smashing it with the cricket shit in the suburbs?
I've got a lot of Indian followers now who are going to be very disappointed that I'm not a cricket
guy?
They all follow me thinking I'm a cricket shit poster. But I'm like, no. I like cricket, but I'm not like you guys.
That's not going to be I'm not going to edit my whole personality.
They're like, you must be excited about the ICC Champions Trophy. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Did you see the Strikers versus the Heat last night? Like, nah, dude, because I'm an adult.
That would be an interesting lane for you to go down, is all of a sudden become a big cricket nuffy.
What? We'll finish. Sorry, I won't ramble, but the British comedian was hitting me up, the guy from Vietnam, Chengdu, that I hung out with, Tim. He was like, dude, I know a guy who went viral with a rugby clip, and Leicester Tigers, some rugby team in England, hit him up, and he now runs their social media account.
Really?
And he doesn't even, he probably does now, but he didn't give a shit about rugby. He didn't know a single thing. He just thought one thing. He thought of one.
Like he thought of a fucking concept, yeah.
And he was just tuning in like, that's funny. And then they're like, dude, we love it. Would you like to? So who knows? Cricket Australia.
Cricket Australia. Employ this man.
Or the fucking board of control of cricket in India. I'll work for the
You're probably going to earn more money for the
follow
fucking
the rupees, baby.
All about the rupees. All right, at Joel Temperley on Insta.
At Joel Temperley on Insta. At Joel Temperley PTY LTD on TikTok.
Yep. Random.
I know.
At Joel Temperley mistaken.
I'm at Joel Temperley haha on YouTube.
All right, we'll put all the links in the description.
Yeah,
that's going to be fun. Thank you for joining us.
Shake hands. Good job.
Good job.
And clap.
That was fun, dude. That was a good chat.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Sorry if I went on too much.
No, dude. That's exactly what
I love just